The views and opinions of this podcast are ours and ours alone.
Amen.
How's everybody?
How's
Enjoy the show.
everyone?
We don't have a theme song, so this is it. Hallelujah. It's always just best to kind of just start recording and just figure out what the fuck happens.
That's it.
Well, I mean, hey, it's fucking Friday.
Not.
But kind of, if you're just listening to this.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Opinionated Podcast.
My bad.
How's everybody?
How's everyone? Just overzealous.
Oh, that's quite all right. It's quite all right. It's been a week. It's been a very, maybe overzealous week. If you want to look at it a certain way. We are back with another fun-filled 2 hours of fuckery. If you're listening to us on Anchor, Spotify, Apple, Google, Overcast, and Radio Public, thank you for doing so. Feel free to subscribe. And if you're not, you can find us in those various spaces. Also, feel free to check out our Instagram, Opinionated, a pod by TK, our Twitter, the pod, and of course, Opinionated Podcast by Teddy Kalidimos on Facebook. How have you been, friend?
I'm good. I'm actually pretty good. This week went by, pretty uneventful. Nothing too crazy on my end. That's not to say in the world, but nothing on my end. I ain't got the coronavirus yet.
Right.
So I got to be doing well. Let the world tell it.
That's always good to know.
We should all be looking over our shoulders because the coronas is coming. Put your beers up.
Child the quarantine and child the children, the cats, the dogs, the goddamn.
I'm about to get me one of these designer masks so I can be out here just swaddled up.
I actually thought about getting out the goddamn Bane mask.
Please.
You feel me? To be out here just really kicking Corona's ass.
Okay.
Just, you know what I'm saying?
Not me, girl.
You don't want to have me. He bitch shot a Batman, bitch. I'm going to beat shot at you, hoe. Fuck you, man.
Okay. Don't the goose to somebody else.
Time for that stupid shit.
I'm not doing it.
Well, that's good to know that you are healthy, you feel me, coronavirus free, and so on and so forth. My week has been pretty cool. Before we get into my week, I want to introduce our special guest, my cousin. Actually, by blood, not any of that kind of fake cousin shit that you kind of sometimes run into. And, I've been a victim of that time or two. But I'm talking about blood, actual come from the same people, same bloodline.
Gang, gang.
You feel me? All the way. My cousin Wes, a.k.a. Mr. Allen Hustle himself.
What's going on? What's going on, people? What's happening?
We actually are just kind of chilling, for the most part. And, it was time to record, and I was just like, well, hey, do you want to just, hop in on the podcast? Everybody in my family is extremely funny.
Yes.
So I was like, it just would be great to have you. So glad that you came on. Do you have a rant that you want to start off with for the week? Anything that's just on your chest?
Man, what's really on my spirit real heavy?
What is
I'm talking about it's these co-workers of mine that just act like, that they're bigger than what their position is. They think they're the boss.
Oh, I hate that shit.
Oh my God, it works my nerves.
It's like,
Can
please
we
stay in your
relate?
pay grade.
Please. Especially if we looking at each other.
Yes. Like, why are you doing so much? Are they paying you under the table or something?
Like, they want to tell you what to do, and no, sir, please, can you just go back to your pay grade? That's all I'm asking.
Yeah, no, I completely figure that. I've had that a time or two, especially even like in training classes and shit like that, and new jobs. I'm like, calm down. Like, let the fucking person in charge have their thing, and if there's an issue, just follow protocol. But we don't need you to step in and be their interim or anything like that. So please,
Thank you so kindly.
remain up here. As far as my rant, the only thing I actually want to get on my chest is something that happened to me today. And, I mean, I'm a fair person, so it's completely, within this person's right to do what they've done. But I just want old people sometimes to take a L. And I know that is very insensitive of me to say, but this is a rant, this is a feeling.
Yes.
I get it in the real world, and, and I understand the responsibility that comes with it, but I just want old people to, just learn to take a few L's. For instance, I went to Kroger early this morning, tried to catch it before it was time to go to work. And I'm in the customer service line because that's where you get the Rellos from if you don't go to the little gas station part.
Right.
And I swear to you, every time I have to make that kind of morning run to Kroger and I'm trying to do something like that, it's always some old ass person in the line trying to return something that in my mind is just like, you feel me? Just like, quit it. Like, this lady, I swear to you, was in line trying to return a bag of pretzels. Man, just buy some more.
They weren't twisted enough.
You feel me? Just just buy some more. Like, and I guess to me,
too hard on her teeth. You never know.
But that's not the presser fault. You feel me?
Not the presser fault.
And again, I get that. You feel me? You never know a person's circumstance, and I understand that in our country, a lot of our elderly people who are not employed or living on Social Security or anything like that, you know, are often kind of spoken about in, you know, as being part of a group that, you know, has to struggle sometimes to make ends meet, and they're not necessarily giving their fair share, veterans included.
Right.
But just for my own personal, you know,
I'm just trying to get to my day
thing in the world, I want you to maybe just carry your ass over to the goddamn pretzel aisle, get you some more teeth-friendly pretzels if that's your thing, and just move over to the U-Scan and keep it moving. Because I think what adds to it, and then I'll wrap my rant up, is that the customer service people, especially down here in the South in Tennessee, you know, people are really big on like kind of building rapport and the honeys and the sweeties and the so on and so forth. And you're now making old people conversation. You know, this whole ain't got nobody in
baby.
the motherfucking house to talk to for 10 out of the 24 hours of the day or however long.
So these pretzels.
You feel me? Like, there's a way to be great at customer service, and part of it is like timely resolution of a situation, understanding you have people in line, and just that was my bone to pick. So, you know, I'm done with that.
All right, so my bone is y'all got to stop in these corporate spaces coming for black people's or people who are people of color's names. Just everybody ain't a Emma. Everybody's not an Allie. Everybody's not a Chad.
Ashley.
Yeah, like Amanda.
Holly.
Like, I get it. As someone with a quote-unquote white name.
Hunter.
Okay, like, I get it. You know, Thaddeus.
Blake.
Okay, like, I get it. But to be like, so this bitch was like, every time I see someone's name spelled that way, I just wonder, what are their parents thinking doing that? And it's like, this is why hoes can't get jobs, because the bitches like y'all. Like,
Jody.
Like, it ain't that hard. Like, when y'all hear these long-ass Russian names, these long-ass German names.
Svetlana.
Okay, y'all ain't got no goddamn qualms about learning their names. You ain't finna go, yeah, hey Sly, you ain't finna shorten they shit.
Eli.
Okay, like, come on now.
Now,
like,
I will say now, one thing I will say, and not to holler on too much, white people, I love you, but white people, I'm not even saying white people. People in general, I'm going to give it to everybody, because I know some white people like that. No, take that back. I'm going to make it a white person thing. Okay. Because white people are good people giving people nicknames, but we all go through and take a nickname and extend it out and make it longer than whatever it is. White people will find any way to goddamn shorten a motherfucking name.
Of the shorter name.
You can be Eli, hey L, and it's EL. Like, or you know what I'm saying? It's just,
my main man E. How you doing?
And you're like, what's up, Aunt? Like,
just why? Like, leave people's names alone. It's not that hard. The person is literally telling you how their name is. Like, they're saying, hi, my name is, and then they say their name. Like, people shouldn't not be able to get hired or do what they need to do to make money just because of how their names are. They did not name themselves, as we all know. So just learn people's names. Like, it's not that hard. Like, Dewana, really? Like, that's too much.
Oh, actually, I have a cousin named Dewana.
Tamika. Like, Monique, like, that's too much. Hey, Mo. What's going on, girlfriend? Like, no. Like, let's just leave people alone about their names. We know that we can add extra letters and apostrophes and all other kinds of things to make names, but it's still somebody's name. Respect people's names. Everybody should not have to be abbreviated or change their fucking name just because you too goddamn lazy. So.
I'm Clay. I'm going to call him Clay.
Okay.
Speaking of names, Chaka Khan, another one of our funny named, but not so funny named entertainers, decided that she wanted to give her best goddamn rendition of Jamie Foxx. And what was it? The All-Star Weekend, when she was singing the national anthem. If you are on or follow our Instagram page, Opinionated Pod by TK, you'll actually see a clip of the video there. But Chaka came on with her best 5 heartbeats, Eddie Kane and Baby Doll, Feel Like Going On type singing. And I don't know what type of spirit hit her, but it was a spirit of confusion, and I bind it.
It was an old jazzy, boozy spirit.
Yeah, because it's the latch hold to Chaka, because she actually was on The Masked Singer as well. The current season cycle 26, and on that she sounded a mess as well. And I knew enough of her voice to know it was her, and I really just kind of like wrote it off as she was trying to like kind of hide her voice or disguise it so that she wouldn't necessarily know it's her, because she does have a very distinguished a distinguishing voice.
Yeah.
But I was not able to stand on that because she got out and sung in her real verse with bitches knowing who the fuck she was and carried on as if it was goddamn Third Sunday, and she had just been asked to go through and take the Saints down through it.
She was like, Lord, my greens is on. Y'all didn't tell me I was going to do all this.
Yeah.
I just came to hear pastor just like everybody else, and y'all got me up here on this mic. I didn't sign up for that. So,
Yeah.
But she signed up for this one. So we
she definitely signed up for this one, and she should have signed out. I really, really want her to sit down and think about the shit that she's doing and maybe only stick to singing her songs. I would rather even her, because I'm going to tell you, to me, you know, we love music and special live performances and shit like that.
Yes, we do.
And not Patty, excuse me, she must be talking about me somewhere in a loving way, because that's my auntie. But Chaka, to me, has kind of, especially in the more recent years, been a little bit more of a lazier performer, and I mean that just in the sense where it just feels like she kind of lazily goes through the songs. Yeah, and I definitely think that that's the thing too. And it's really just never subpar, but it's really just kind of
not the Chaka we know.
Yeah, like you could do a lot more. You have the range and so, and you're just like, oh, bitch, I'm not for doing that today.
So you basically saying they ain't through the wire shot.
Yeah, it's definitely not through the wide Chaka. It's not when, you know what I'm saying, it's not tribute Chaka. It's not when Whitney was alive Chaka. It just is
Chaka Khan.
I'm tired.
Shaking. It's
shaking that stirred Chaka.
You feel me? Chotskis or something. I don't know. It's Shuka. You know what I'm saying?
Is not aligned.
Yeah. It's just they need to get aligned and something like, I don't know if one of these goddamn days or whenever Mercury's are going to retrograde, but if it has anything connected to anything part of the voice, I hope that it heals her or brings it out, and that you know, or if it's, you know, just break it through, break every curse, Lord, break every curse,
every chain,
break every chain, break every goddamn stronghold. Excuse me, Lord, but you know, break every album. So you know, that's that. Let me move on. So those of you who are familiar with, I guess, kind of a viral post going around, illustrating, I guess, one of the examples of the Mandela Effect, are probably a little bit surprised, as I am, to understand that the goddamn Fruit of the Loom sign does not, and I guess has never had, the cornucopia behind it. I see some people kind of looking around, you feel me, as to what that is. And to me, this actually brought me back to a conversation that you and I had when we were like much, much younger. I think once we were starting to kind of get together, the whole goddamn Augusta being the capital of Georgia.
Yes.
And how we were told by two completely separate, unknown, unconnecting entities, or whatever, if you will, that this was the goddamn capital.
We did not go to the same school.
At
we
all.
did not have any of the same
and didn't even know each other at the time that we were told.
At all.
It happened to come up in a conversation, and Hoes was goddamn shook to find out it was Atlanta.
And remember, we went somewhere, and the cashier was also like, "Man, I thought it was Georgia. I thought it was Atlanta too. Like, I mean, Augusta too." So because
I always thought it was like a little trick thing, like, it's, you would think it was Atlanta, but it's Augusta, and it's like, no, it's goddamn. So anyway, if you're going on our Instagram page, you'll be able to see the image. For some reason, I swear to you, I have always thought that little brown cornucopia was behind all of the fruit on Fruit of the Loom, and I had enough pair to where one would think that I should know. But the people are telling us that it is not, nor has it ever been, a motherfucking...
I've never paid attention to it, so I guess I didn't.
Yeah, Vegas showgirl.
I guess I never.
That's what they said.
Really?
That's what I'm saying. It's fucking me up.
I didn't know.
This has always been the headliner.
I didn't pay attention to it, so, but you know, that's that. And Mandela strikes again, child.
Yeah, it took me out. I just did not know what the fuck to do.
A cornucopia of deceiving,
ain't it? A cornucopia of confusion,
illusions,
ball of confusion.
Oh yeah,
that's the Illuminati, bro.
Okay,
like something's going down. Something's going down. And we need the goddamn Scooby-Doo and the gang to get down to the bottom of it. Speaking of Scooby-Doo and the gang, they actually went through and was able to bring one of the many monsters of Hollywood down this past week. One Harvey Weinstein was motherfucking finally in all the legal forms, or at least 2 of the 5 that he was brought up on with charges still pending, unmasked to be the rapist, predator, monster that we always knew he was.
Does that mean that we can retire? But what about Harvey Weinstein? When are they going to go after the white people that take over there? They're always trying to take down the blacks. But what about the white rapists? So,
where's the Harvey Weinstein this and that?
So that can be retired now, right? We can.
I doubt it.
Put that. It's not. I know. But
I doubt it.
It would be nice.
Comes out.
Yeah, so we need like 1 or 2 documentaries, and I think all will be. Even then, niggas is already goddamn.
Well, they wouldn't paint them like they was painting the black ones though. They didn't talk about.
Where's the surviving Weinstein? What about the nigga? And they're all they're all very goddamn valid questions. But understanding that just because you don't have, an answer for one, that something hasn't been done in one particular arena doesn't mean that it won't, or, that we're not still giving it some form of attention. So I think that, this was a win in part for a lot of people. I think there's still more to go. I think this is kind of one of those cases that have really brought out not only the, I guess just kind of the fear that a lot of women have regarding coming forward after these traumatic type experiences and situations, as well as our own look at how the criminal justice system kind of treats not even just the criminal justice system, but the media as well, and how the stories of black celebrities and white celebrities doing the same crimes are a bit different as how they're reported. But one thing doesn't negate necessarily the other. And it doesn't mean that someone did or did not do what they did, or that they don't necessarily deserve that. And I think that, in the deeper conversation, the realm of understanding, we kind of know that. So, what I'm saying? It's just a win that I wanted to point out this week for everyone involved, for everyone who's been a victim, for everyone who has wanted to come forth and was too afraid to, this one's for you. So that's our Harvey Weinstein talk. Speaking of monsters and all things horror, Jordan Peele actually released the trailer to his newly produced, updated 2020 continuation film of the Candyman series.
I can't wait.
I can't either.
I'm ready.
It is. Jordan Peele has not disappointed me. Like, Us wasn't a bad movie, but I just didn't get how deep people were trying to make it. But even still, past that, I thought it was still a good movie. Of course, Get Out was amazing. Yes. And this man, and the team that he works with, has this amazing talent of being able to infuse so many cultural aspects of being black into a genre where we have often been underrepresented or been good enough just to be the nigga that dies. Okay. So, you know what I'm saying? The trailer you can find on YouTube, and you can actually see it on our Instagram. But it actually kind of picks up, looks like years later or so on. And you just see bees and hooks, bitch. You've got to goddamn log on to see it. And I mean, just if I can just get fake deep real quick, just fake deep. Okay. The fact that Candyman is so synonymous with bees. Beyonce Queen Bee. Okay. Is featured amongst the group in Destiny's Child. And they're singing Say My Name, which is so perfect for the fucking movie.
Yes, it is.
Say my name, say my name.
When nobody's around you.
Do you hear me?
By yourself.
Do you hear me?
So beautiful.
Get in this mirror. Say this name.
Please.
And I'm coming.
Oh, I felt
like a busy bee.
And when you see something and it comes together nicely, and you're like, you did that. Mm-hmm. Like, the movie could even be bad at this point, but you, to me, in my eyes, have had a wonderful rollout of this bitch, and I just cannot wait to see more clips, and eventually to see it. I am going to be there opening day with my motherfucking popcorn and my leveled butter and seasoned salt and my goddamn drink. But I'm gonna bring my candy in from the outside, because bitch, they are not gonna charge me $4-5 for some goddamn Sour Patch Kids or some shit. Hell yeah, when the Dollar Tree's right next to me, no deal. And look, I'm not bringing my own hot dogs, but you know, just because I've done it. Aluminum foil, you better ask somebody.
Child, okay. You gotta do what you gotta do.
That is just, you know, one of the many things that I am excited to see in our theaters coming in June. So kudos to Jordan Peele. Also kudos with Black people in media. I don't know if you've heard, but Disney Plus actually has greenlit the Proud Family to come back, which I guess is titled Proud Family Louder and Prouder.
Yes.
And all of the original cast is coming back except for, Orlando Bloom.
Okay.
No, not Orlando Bloom. Orlando Brown.
Orlando Brown. He was He was. Sticky.
Yeah.
Sticky, yeah. Okay.
So even the character Sticky has not even been shown yet. They haven't, I guess, released an official word, but I just feel like if Disney's not fucking with him on Raven, they probably not gonna fuck with him on Proud Family. So,
hey, it'd be like that. But
and I hate it for him. That's 2 checks he could have picked up.
And it comes back around to Beyonce, even though Solange was the main singer.
Yeah.
Destiny's Child did do backup, so it's nice to bring Beyonce back to the conversation. Okay.
It goes on and does that.
Yes.
I guess also continuing with shows that are coming back, it's gonna be a great time for TV, at least for me. American Horror Story actually released a trailer, kind of a cast tease for the new season 10.
Okay.
So we're actually seeing some of the OGs come back. Sarah Paulson, Evan Peters, who both were really great, and I feel like Evan Peters has been tremendously overlooked. As it pertains to not only just his acting, but I guess the awards that he should receive from his acting, because he's been one of the biggest parts of American Horror Story for me. Even up until like Cult, like I thought his character Kai was just so crazy.
He did awesome.
Yeah. So I'm happy to see that American Horror Story is back. We've got Kathy Bates back, along with some of our other people, Billy Lord, and Leslie Grossman. But one of the newest, or I guess the newest announcement, in addition to those people, was our very own Home Alone star Macaulay Culkin.
Okay.
And it feels right. Like I don't mean no shade by it, but Macaulay Culkin looks kind of horror-y these days.
Yeah, look creepy.
You know what I'm saying? It's not, the I guess America's cute kid type of vibe or whatnot.
All
it's
grown
real.
up and murking niggas.
Yeah, I've had some money. I've maybe seen some dark times, a little drugs, a little drinking, and I'm here and I'm ready.
Tales from the Crypt.
Slick, but not in the way of Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen, but just a little bit, a few blocks away,
he ain't got
the town's over.
He ain't got to do too much with the makeup. Just come on set, you look ready.
Yeah.
Put the hair a little maybe disheveled, and we ready to go.
Yeah, well, I will ask that American Horror Story please be better this time. 1984 had the potential to be so good. Like there was a whole fucking 80s genre of films to not only pick up on, but you can have even gone through and in the most, I guess, kind of honest of ways, replicated in an almost copycat kind of fashion. Like with the Freddy Krueger and the Jasons and shit like that. And I get that you were trying to play on the Jason theme with the Camp Crystal Lake and the campers and so on and so forth, or maybe even just like sleepaway camp and shit like that. But this Mr. Jingles character was terrible. He sounded like a house cat.
Oh my God.
He just does not goddamn strike fear. Like even though Jason or Michael, they're both regular names. Because we've known them and we've kind of put something behind them, they've earned the fear that comes with their name.
Right.
But for you to come through and be like Mr. Jingles, like no deal. Like I was not feeling that. You would have just kind of been goddamn better at pretending to be Jason for all I cared, and it could have almost been like a mockumentary or like a mock biopic.
Campy. Like
it was too campy.
It was too campy, yeah. And Apocalypse wasn't that great either, especially the way that ended. Like I feel like that season also had potential to be really, really good.
Did.
I mean, it's supposed to be the spawn of Satan. Like I just, Kathy did her thing as she always does. Sarah did her thing too, but somehow we lost it. It seemed like once you got to the middle of the season, it just kind of went somewhere else. I think they spent too much time in the flashbacks. I don't know, but Apocalypse was, so yeah, we 2-2 with the not so great season. So let's get back to
because I even didn't have a problem with
let's get back to the good stuff.
With Roanoke. Like I actually liked the little twist in Roanoke that they gave the first time through, with them kind of being characters of characters, or that characters and the actors and so on and so forth. I thought Freak Show was a mess, but to me the best they've ever been has been Coven.
Yes.
And I will stand behind that.
Coven and Colt.
10 toes down.
Coven and Colt were really good.
But I said all that to say and bring it back around. Actually, no. I'm going to add one more piece. I actually kind of go through and give American Horror Story a little bit of slack, just off the strength that I find American Crime Story so fucking good.
Yes.
And I feel like,
When's the next one?
I know it's fall. I think it's like September or something like that.
Okay.
It's supposed to be the Bill Clinton versus Monica Lewinsky,
ready.
Or the people versus Bill Clinton, or however they're going to word it. But pretty much supposed to be the impeachment trials. Yeah,
go back and see the real cases.
Yeah,
so you can
all
watch
that
and
going
get
on.
back in at the same time.
And I think that they were talking about how the climate that we're in now, and then having Monica be an executive producer behind it. We're really going to be able to see a side of the story that we haven't really been privy to, and an understanding of really how young she was, and impressionable, and just, you know, really how all of that factored into it. So, and
she did a TED Talk not too long ago that kind of told about her experience and just like the mental health at the time, how her parents felt about it, and just people around her. So if you want to do a TED Talk of Monica, if that's something that you want to go and listen to, YouTube, definitely go check that out. It would I think it'd be great to listen to that before you watch this particular one, and just always go back and look at the Real Case Files as well. It was fun to do with OJ. I mean, I hate to say
and they have some new ones on OJ too on Court TV, just in case you didn't know. I'm obsessed.
Yes, so, you know, get into that.
Yeah,
big ups to Ryan.
Yeah, and for, it's specifically also for putting her in the position to tell her story. I think if anyone deserves it, she definitely deserves to be able to tell her story. If you're going to have my business so publicly available, and I'm going to be scrutinized in a way, at least give me an opportunity to tell you what happened and not go by what other people have said.
Amen.
So from that, moving on, The Masked Singer actually came on yesterday. And we actually have a couple of ideas about who some people are. I think we were dealing with Group B again this time.
Yeah.
And we had the Frog, who we believe is Bow Wow.
Yes.
I think the basketball kind of lent itself to like Mike, as well. I just feel like he talks like Bow Wow, even with the disguised voice. I guess there's maybe a cadence, if you will, of how Bow Wow speaks.
Yeah.
He's also short, and it hits my spirit as old young Shad Moss.
Yeah.
Other than that, the Mouse was sent home, and Mouse is exactly who we thought it was. Our very own living legend, Pepper LaBeija, aka Dionne Warren. And
Miss Warren was so happy.
Yes,
so happy to
baby.
see my auntie back on stage somewhere.
Yes, baby. I don't understand how they didn't. Well, I mean, I guess they did know, because some of them guessed it, but at one point somebody was like Tracy Ellis Ross. I was like, you have got to be fucking kidding me.
Ellis Ross. See, once again, we heard a black voice and just needed a black name to go
here we go. Tracy was like, no deal, this is not Tracy. First of all, get into his body. If anybody knows the body that is Tracy Ellis Ross, goddamn, that was not it. You would not tell me that you're ever going to mistake Dionne Warren's figure for goddamn Tracy Ellis Ross. In addition to that, you feel me, when they goddamn called out her name and lifted this bitch up, all you saw was smoke come from underneath the goddamn ass.
Big to light my cigarette.
Yes, like she goddamn smoked and sang through that whole time underneath that goddamn mouse head, and I swear in my spirit I feel like they paid her in goddamn cool regular packs. But no, actually the carton. Like she goddamn said, give me 76
Slims.
and I'll come and sing a couple songs for you. A and B selection mix. Fuck you mean. All day. So that was this week's Masked Singer. We still don't know who the banana is. And I really kind of forgot who some of the other contestants were.
They said that the banana could have been Billy Bob Thornton or Jeff Foxworthy.
Yeah, I think I'm going to lean toward Jeff Foxworthy. I think
somebody said the cable guy, but, you know, I don't know
what
his
this cable guy the one that
like
got on keto
days.
diet, baby. I don't know.
Okay, we don't know, but, you know, we'll see, as we always do.
One at a time. Moving on to our reality TV realm, Real Housewives of Atlanta premiered their latest episode this past Sunday on Bravo. And in the episode, we actually kind of followed, of course, the adventures of our favorite Atlanta Peaches. Yes. So starting with Cynthia, I think Cynthia and Mike actually spent some time kind of discussing the plan and the need for counseling prior to getting married, being able to argue properly and things like that.
Okay.
I thought it was a really cool segment to watch. My spirit is telling me that even as much as I like Mike, Mike Hill, that Mike is not. It's so crazy. I don't want to say once a cheater, always a cheater, because I feel like if we say that, then it takes away the choice.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Some people do stop cheating.
Yeah, and also I feel like it lends itself to the fact that like you can't help it. So then, are we gonna go through and put out consequences or penalize people for what we can't help? No, because it's a choice. But with that, in my mind, and only in my mind, I just feel like there's a difference in the journey that you take when a relationship ends and it's because of cheating.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
I feel like when you are a person who has been cheated on, you maybe are less likely to enter into another relationship until you're ready. And that, is not including, oh, I can't be alone or X, Y, and Z.
Right, codependent.
Yeah, so I need to be with someone type of deal. But, if you are the type of person that doesn't have that dependency, I feel like the journey from being cheated on to the next relationship is a bit different than when you are the person that did the cheating and then it's time for the next relationship. So in that, I mean, of course, as I said, that if you have gotten cheated on, you're more likely, I think, to kind of go through the journey of like having trust issues and things like that, and probably declining offers to be back in a relationship because you're afraid or you have that hesitation because you don't want to be cheated on again. And then at that point, then, your most responsible thing you should do is to then, wait until you're ready and you're whole or you're healed or whatever the case, and then you hop back into a relationship. I think that when you're the person that's done the cheating, you don't necessarily go through that. I think that it is something that you can think about, right. And I think it is something that you can, do some work on yourself about and, dive deep in X, Y, and Z. But I think the next time that you see something that you like, you don't have that same hesitation as a person who's been on the other side of your hurting.
Right.
Or, it being by your doing. So
I think also it plays into the fact that he's been married. I think this is his third marriage. So, it's a lot harder for people to stay married when they've been married so many times, especially when you yourself have been married and then you're getting into relationships with other people and they have also been married. So a lot can play into it. You have your own baggage that comes in, but if you haven't done the work to really see how your actions have affected someone else, especially in the marital realm, I think that's where they're going to run into the most problems. Mike seems very sincere. He seems to love Cynthia very much, but that doesn't take away from the fact that will that love be enough to have those choices be different this time around? Right.
And will you be as disciplined or as thorough and,
because better than anybody that divorce is an option.
Yeah.
So it's like, are you willing to see this as the bond that it's supposed to be of quote unquote forever, or, however long your marriage theories are. But just being a person in that space who has, and of course the other parties are not saints, we don't know their stories, but it does take two. But I think where Mike is concerned, just the fact that he's been married before, kind of the same reasons have been why those other marriages ended. Like, it is a little speculative, like, you do seem like the nice type of, like, are you non-monogamous? Are you a person that's just, monogamy is not inherent to you? Because I think a lot of times the reasons why these situations keep on going is because, especially in the realm of cheating, it's like, that you're not a person that can be with just one person. You like the new conversation. You like having that new energy of meeting someone and getting to know them and doing all this other stuff. So I think when people are serial cheaters, it looks into a deeper thing of, is that just you? Are you just a person that likes to have multiple energies around? You like to date multiple people? So I think because polyamory and non-monogamy and all of that has really entered the mainstream now, I think instead of looking at people as just being like cheaters, I think we should be looking at them like, oh, maybe it's just in your lane to be someone that likes to be with multiple people.
Yeah, and so I feel like for a situation like Mike, in my opinion, one of the biggest motivators for a person to better themselves or do the work that they need to is hurt. And I think that when you're not the person who has been cheated on, and it's not to say that you can't experience hurt, but I feel like the hurt is different. Yeah. And I think that, it doesn't come to you. You don't end up with all of the additional baggage, or at least, having your trust sensors or whatever kind of shaken up. Yeah. And, I guess feeling the need to kind of recalibrate and all the questions and the rabbit holes that takes you down. When you don't have those as motivators, it doesn't pressure you the same way to get better.
Yeah, because you can be remorseful. You can be like, damn, I did.
And you still don't have a better skill set or anything like that. And to
Yeah.
me, that's where I feel like it's coming from for the Mike situation, is that because you've been the person cheating in X, Y, and Z, sometimes the moving on is just the next time your dick gets hard looking at somebody. And it's like, I'm interested. And, you know, in the world, like you said, of, you know, cheaters or non-monogamous or, you know, however we're, you know, going to describe people in that way, I think that, you know, it then lends itself a bit more to you kind of still being disingenuous or being dishonest about your efforts, because you understand that the majority of people at this point haven't necessarily subscribed to, you know, being polyamorous or, you know, to take that, you know, walk down what maybe some people would consider an alternate or an alternative to, I guess, traditional relationships. And sometimes those forces, because you want something, can make you say certain things, which in itself is manipulative.
It is.
But, you know, it can, you know, kind of put pressure on you or become incentive for you to say certain things just for you to get what you want. And Cynthia is a beautiful woman. Yeah. And she's not just a beautiful woman. She's also a successful woman. And she brings plenty to the table.
She does.
So, you know, you would be a fool to not want to be with her. But just because you want it doesn't mean that you can handle it.
Yeah, like, is it right for you? Is this person right for you?
And if you don't have the discipline to be like, you know, I'm wrong for you, or I know that I can't, you know, be faithful, or I know that I'm going to have to sit this one out.
Yeah, because it takes that person, I won't necessarily say Cynthia, but it takes that person's autonomy away to choose. Like, it takes it away to be able to say, hey, you know what, I understand that this is a part of you that's not something I'm really fucking with, but, you know, go and do you. A lot of people have not gotten to that point because, like you said, this is something that I want, but is it something that is going to be good for you? It would be terrible to gain this thing. That's like getting a plant. You know you're not going to water it. Yeah, you know,
got the best intentions.
Yeah, you got the best intentions. You don't want to kill the plant. You don't want to ruin the relationship. You don't want anything to happen to hurt that person, but you also know how you are. And so when you take that person's autonomy away, that opens the door for a lot of past pain to come up. So not only are they in the space of being cheated on in the present, but then it's also calling to mind the things that happened to them in the past. So it's never just the issue existing in a vacuum.
Right.
Like, it's definitely multiple people.
So is Mike an ex-pimp or something?
You know, with all his friends,
Man,
all his...
you can see it.
I saw it.
I thought it was me.
No, I know. When you said it, I knew exactly what you were talking about. Like, that also, that was so interesting to me. Again, it's not, it doesn't lend its, I won't say it doesn't lend itself. It doesn't mean anything by itself. But I'm just always a big person in, you know, if all the evidence comes together.
I mean, if
then,
it quack like a duck. Like, I don't
but,
know.
you know, I just like, you know, what is that like of being someone who, I guess in the most plain form, has issues being disciplined when it comes to relationships with women, and you find yourself with women as the majority of your relationships. Yeah. Like, how does that work out? Like, you know, it's like, where do those things intersect? How does that show up and lend itself, you know, to X, Y, and Z?
Especially if the person that's been cheated on.
Yeah. Because you're requesting a lot of trust.
Yeah, you're requesting a lot of trust because these people are beautiful. And that doesn't mean that you should end your friendships. But I hope that Cynthia and Mike have a long engagement, that y'all really have an opportunity to really go through therapy. Don't just do this little 2-week, you know, get a
discount. Real honeymoony.
Yeah.
And I'm not to say that just because you're having sex, but I mean, it's kind of because you're having sex so much.
Because you kind of keep it on the surface, like, well, how are we going to argue better? How can we better communicate? Like, the basic things. Like, no, y'all have some traumas. This person is known for being a serial cheater, and then you have also been cheated on in your past. Yeah. And to be naive enough to think that anybody can be so healed or so, you know, transformed through their past experiences that shit is not gonna fuck with them. Like, it'll come to mind.
I just don't write no book or something.
Yeah, just because you don't act out in those ways, or your trigger doesn't trigger you so much to where you react negatively and you can kind of move through spaces a little bit better. But I don't think that it'll never come up in your mind when Mike is gonna be like, hey, I'm gonna go kick with the homies, and he's really down at the boutique having mimosas and shit. you know, while they getting their nails done. Like, that type of thing will come up. And I think that's the big issue with me with where marital counseling comes in, because it's real surface level. It's things that you should kind of already know or should be working through as boyfriend and girlfriend, or boyfriend, you know, whatever, however you identify in the relationship before you even get married. You already know that person's communication style. Unless y'all just met 2 weeks ago and then got married, like if y'all have been dating for a while or in a relationship for a while before you walk down the aisle, you kind of already know these things. You already have an idea of how this person is going to react in certain situations. So I want marital counseling to really dig deep into people. As someone that was married before.
And not Dr. Sherry.
And not Dr. Sherry. Please, not Dr. Sherry.
Even though her little session with Porsha was nice, but I still lend it to Porsha being open. But
or if it's going to be Dr. Sherry, let it be off camera. Let it be a real therapy session where y'all really dig deep into some of the things that went on in the past, so that way you can set yourself up for a better future. As someone that went through marital counseling with someone who was not married, divorced actually, it didn't quite make sense to me why they were our marital counselor, but somebody wanted them and we did it, but it didn't help us. Like the counseling is supposed to help. It's supposed to dig into the issues that y'all are currently facing, so that way you can face them better when you get married, because marriage is not a cure-all. It's not going to stop or cure or make someone be monogamous when they're not. It's not going to make someone cheat if that's something that they do. It's not going to make someone stop lying. Like, none of those bounds. Yeah, neither do kids. Nothing about creating a family in whatever sense, however family looks to you, doesn't mean that those things are going to be cured as soon as you say I do.
And it's not the gay people that's going through and ruining a black family, by the way.
Just in case you were wondering.
Moving on to black families. We actually kind of, you know, as we always do every Sunday, cameras moved into Kenya's house. And we were able to see a bit more of the dynamic between Kenya and Mark, and you know, just the dynamics of relationship. And it's so interesting because Kenya is definitely a villain, and she gets on my nerves. But as a person that's still fair, I still hate to see the dynamic that she has with her husband, because you can tell that she really wants this to work.
Yeah,
you can tell that she's really making an effort to get this to work and for them to have a great relationship. Especially with having this baby. And we know that sometimes even just the pressures that women can have to, you know, stay with the fathers of their kids and make a family work and so on and so forth. And, you know, to imagine having all of that pressure and then having to do it on camera in front of the world, which you did sign up for, but still have, you know, it's the reality. Yeah, it is. So with that, this week we kind of saw Kenya and Candy team up to host a kickball game, as, you know, kind of getting everybody to get into a nice space, getting some good camaraderie going and so on and so forth, so that the people can, you know, go through and eventually meet up for, I think, was the kickball for, wasn't that for charity?
It typically is. So,
or was it? Well,
why not?
Well, we'll say it's for charity, and if not, then it's not for charity.
Philanthropic issues. We'll say that.
But you know what I'm saying. So that whole scenario was going on, and the girls got together and played nice, and so on and so forth. But as we moved on to the bowling event that Kenya was actually having alongside her husband Mark, we actually were able to see Mark bring out the other side of Kenya. I guess kind of how he, you know, refers to her as Ken, and how I guess we were really able to see the ways in which they interact.
Yeah,
I'll just say it like that. And I guess another glimpse into it, Mark seems always so stern and real foot down and so on and so forth. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It actually looks like some of the girls, you know, really like that and like that energy for Kenya. But I just can't help to feel like she feels embarrassed a little bit sometimes when that happens, or made to feel smaller when it happens.
Because you see where the other husbands are a little bit more doting on their wives, a lot more supportive. Not saying that those marriages are better or perfect or whatever, but just the way. But as it relates to this particular thing, like, it's one thing to have your spouse be so supportive of you and has your back that when in spaces you can move a little different, you're more considerate, you're more caring, you just generally act more like a better person because they help to make you a better person versus someone making you feel small, that you need to take up less space, that you need to censor your voice more in their presence, and to have the contentious relationship that they have and to see that on display. Like, yeah, some of the girls may have seen it as a benefit just because of the space that they're in. Usually, you know, the social setting, especially with Kenya, can be a little volatile, as we've seen so many times before. But it should never be at the expense of your spouse.
Yeah.
It should never be a situation where we're out and you feel like you need to add a little bit of a check to me. So instead of supporting me and having my back, and I can relax and let you, let your light, give me a little bit of light to be a better person, you're actually dimming my light. You're muting me.
So you're busting my light bulb. Like, sometimes you be coming for, like, even in the fact that the producers had to ask Porsha, like, would Dennis ever do something like that? It's for me as if he just does not have any regard towards, really showing her any respect. Like, I understand there are, ways that some people enjoy being, corrected, or, some people enjoy their husband or their man getting them together, or taking charge. Yeah, putting you in your place and X, Y, and Z. But the energy of that between the two of them, because they never appear to be affectionate, or anything like that, which isn't all couples, but, all things considered, it just doesn't read that way, at least on TV. And we know that everything that we see on TV isn't real, but because we're calling this reality TV and you're putting it on the goddamn TV for us to watch,
we can only
this is what we're going to call it.
To what we see. So
I just think he just don't like all that petty shit.
I don't think he likes her.
Yeah.
Quiet as kept.
I think he like it. He just don't like the petty, like the little petty shit. He don't like this shit because he feel like it's just unnecessary. That's what I really think. That's what it looked like.
Well, I know that they actually showed a sneak peek of next week's episode, and his mic was actually still on and attached to him, and someone was asking him how he enjoyed being married, and his response was, "Everybody knows I hate it." So it's stuff like that, and just little stuff that he does. In my opinion, like, I feel like he tries to create tension between her and the daughter. Like, anytime she wants something or wants to do something, he kind of immediately, like, takes all his attention and puts it on the child.
Yeah.
And, really paints them as a team and her as the outsider. Even sometimes the little jokes he makes. Like, they were teaching little Brooklyn how to swim. And just, we're going to go and, leave you at home. Even one point he said something about her being in the pool, or I don't know, it read wrong to me, and I don't want to just say it because I don't know specifically what, whatever, but I was just like, let me go back and, check and see what that was about. But his energy has never just really been like that I'm into you all the way.
And that's what I meant by, like, people getting married too soon. It's okay to have a long engagement to make sure that the person you're marrying is who you actually want to marry. Because I'm looking at Mark like, Mark, like, so why did you even get married then? Like, what even was the point? I know she didn't get down and pull a Christie. Because I just don't understand how y'all were willing to walk down the aisle and say these unions and all
and have a baby.
And have a baby, and then turn so away really early into the marriage. So it's like either you knew what you was getting into and you did it anyway and thought that she would change or whatever, or you just saw this as like a financial come up. Like, what is the real reasoning? Because it could not be romantic.
I think it's something deep we don't even get to see, to be honest.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's what I'm saying. Like, what was it? What is your motivation? What was your motivation to walk down the aisle in the first place?
Yeah. So you got to, if you don't want me, don't talk to me.
Go ahead and free yourself.
You need to be bumping the Fantasia CD. If you don't want to just be as direct and tell him to his face.
She dropped his last name off of her social media.
Yeah, I saw that.
So that means something in these realms.
Yeah, nowadays. Especially after the episode aired and that was pulled up. I'm just like, because that type of stuff is embarrassing too. Like, I think the only other time that we've seen something like that happen was on the Real Housewives of New Jersey when Joe Giudice still had his mic on and, was calling Teresa like a fucking bitch or something like that. And, my fucking bitch wife or something to that effect. It wasn't, a nice thing to say, and obviously something to take offense to, and here they are to this day divorced. So,
but could this be Kenya's karma for all of her shadiness?
Very well could be. Like, you've gone through and picking people's marriages, specifically for Adrian Apollo's and X, Y, and Z. Now, albeit, there were some lies and stuff told, there were still lengths that, that things went to that they didn't necessarily have to. And I'm just not I'm still fair, but I've seen Kenya do shit. And she, to me, is entirely too smart to not be aware of what certain things looks like. And I feel like I know the game she plays. Yeah. So, I think it very well could be her karma. But it is, all in all, it's just kind of sad to see. Especially when that somebody, has wanted this for so long and this is how it ended up. And, she's a beautiful girl,
And especially just because, like, this was something that Kenya really wanted. And even though it very well could be karma, but Mark also has autonomy in this. Mm-hmm. And instead of playing her in this way, he could have taken another route. Like, Kenya brings enough drama on herself that her karma could have been by herself, is, I guess, kind of how I see it. So for Mark to be playing into that when he didn't have to is just kind of what I question.
Yeah, it's something else. Moving from Kenya, but still kind of, I guess, connected. Kenya and Nene, of course, from last season really haven't been getting along from when Kenya was pregnant. And Nene made conversations of, her being fat, which she also made for Porsha, and that she was pregnant with a buffalo, and so on and so forth. And Kenya has not really lived that down. And rightfully so, it's your child. Maybe this is because I'm a non-parent, because the child wasn't here and she was pregnant in your stomach and whatnot. I feel like you can maybe almost get a pass. But that, of course, is coming from the perspective of a non-parent. Like, I think that it would be different had you said something about my child once my child was here. Because then I feel like I would have maybe connected it to, maybe
a personal attack on my child.
Yeah, but considering that not even you have really seen the child at this point, that's just how I would have taken it. But I'm not going to tell you how you need to take it with your experience, Kenya. However, that's when the beginning of this latest kind of issue, the latest edition of the ongoing saga of Kenya and Nene has gone. So they haven't been talking since then. Last week we told you Kenya only came for like 7 minutes to Nene's situation. The Lippert lunch, aka the Jungle Book and brunch. Ooh, and so Mark and Kenya kind of got into a bigger conversation with the group about, surrounding being petty, the fact that this is for charity, the fact that Kenya intentionally left Nene off of the invitation, and so on and so forth. And, with all the conversation, everything coming up, Nene and Greg actually did come and attend. Nene came in fake on 10, hugging and, jitterbugging and whatnot all through the goddamn little bowling pit. Went to go hug and be just super, with Kenya and whatnot, knowing that they're not in that space, and playing dumb, really just to be like, I don't have a problem with you and X, Y, and Z when we know that you do. And so that was the entrance of one Lanithia Monique Leaks and the Bishop Greg Leaks. And speaking of the Bishop Greg Leaks, also I wanted to say, regarding him, does it seem like Greg's always kind of coming in looking for a fight these days? Like, Mark came in with his nice and, his nice light-skinned little voice, real soft and sentimental, and, just, hey, I just want you to know that, you're invited. And Greg is just like, no, we weren't invited. And just like, Greg, you used to be so peaceful. And I get it. I respect you. Turn up for your wife. But, you know what I'm saying? I just want to when he went from Bishop Greg to goddamn Gangsta Greg.
Child, probably somebody pulled him to the side and was like, all right, these ratings, these storylines.
It's health good, though.
You want to get your...
We need his last days or something like that.
Yeah, it's like, I guess he got to that point of not giving a fuck, and God said, not yet.
He said, I'm going to be the Peter.
It's like lock and key. He took the fear out of him.
He said, I'm going to be the Peter of the group now. Remember when Peter used
to old Lou Peter Thomas.
I'm taking the husband Peach.
Yes.
I'm taking the Peter Peach.
Well, child, he's going to have somebody to compete with, because I think Marcus got his hand in for the speech. Yeah, pretty much. You know, I mean, Todd didn't earn his little stripes and been here for a while, but, you know, Todd wasn't even the original for Candy. No. You know, rest in peace, AJ.
Right.
So, you know, he might be.
He's just feisty looking for a fight. You said the old people need to take the L's. So
I'm telling you, I really want the old people to take their L's.
Greg holding up the line at Kroger. That's what he's trying to do right now.
Shit, returning pretzels and like go through and sit down somewhere and watch
Greg.
The Price is Right. So you know what I'm saying, that pretty much was Nene and Greg. I can't really think of anything else Nene did during the episode.
I think that's what gets people so riled up about Nene is that it's like you come off really nasty and then you come back and be nice nasty. And it's like, for what?
And
like,
you
why are
never
you
take accountability.
so, like, why do you feel the need to come in here and just be so jazzy when you know that you always seem to have a problem with 90% of the people at the time? So, like, why are you
and you so real
up in here? And yeah, you so real and you just got to keep it real. And I said what I said and all this other stuff. So it's like, what is all this showcasing for? Like, what are you doing? Yeah.
She got flesh.
She the OG. So okay.
It's crazy. Goddamn, Nene was, I guess, after she done went through and got all her arguing out with everybody and went on her little slick apology tour, she's been a little nicer to the ladies. And able to give most of them hugs with the exception of Kenya. So I guess we'll kind of see where this continues, but I'm definitely ready for Nene and Porsha to have a conversation. Mm-hmm. And I think that I hate that it's not, because I understand it was taped months ago, if not longer, but I think one of the things that the people really want Nene to admit to is the fact that when she falls out with people or is not in the best of spaces with people, she goes through and tries to... They're always the person that she names in these interviews when it comes to somebody needing to leave the show. Yeah. Or, you know, having things to say about. And, you know, she doesn't want people to do that about her. And I think that's just like, you know, that's one of the things Cynthia wanted her to you know, kind of account for. Mm-hmm. And she really couldn't. And this wasn't, you know, Cynthia didn't, I guess, have it set up as well since she did like 7 interviews before Nene did hers. But that's where Nene, Greg, and the House of Leaks stands. All right. Porsha was Porsha. They got together. I think they did some.
Did she find the train for Black History Month? Did they unearth the train for the Underground Railroad?
I think she did.
Did they find it, girl?
And it's probably taking a selfie with it.
Okay, I'm ready for it.
But, you know, I wonder if she's taking a little Pilar to go see it.
Okay,
you know,
she's still trying to, you know, pass on
if you need somewhere
history.
to go, Porsha, come to the African American Museum in Nashville, Tennessee.
There you go.
Well, African American Music Museum in Nashville, Tennessee. You'll enjoy it. I know you're a singer as well, so come on through, girl. We'd love to have you. Speaking of singing, let's see. We have Candy. Did Candy really do much besides co-host this game with Kenya?
Probably not. Candy doesn't start mess. Like, things just kind of come to her, and then she kind of reacts as she needs to.
She paid for everything.
But she probably paid for the entry fee. But yeah, Candy don't ever really do too much. Like, she just be trying to show up, have a lunch, have a laugh, you know, try to keep the old ladies out of hell for the OLG restaurant. So who knows? But
oh yeah,
pay and go home.
And then let's see here. Eva's still pregnant. And you know it's I swear to you, it's like she's the goddamn Kiki White of the show. Lord. At this point, she's been. Yeah, she did. She's currently not pregnant right now. I think she said she's gonna give it some time before she get pregnant again, or at least take the surrogate route, because she had a hard time, I guess, carrying the last baby. So I think that should go through and, you know,
on that a little
really
longer.
lend itself to, I guess, her not being pregnant.
Shut up, baby.
She got married and said, "Who? Shit, pop. Let's get it out here." She's be fruitful multiply, so that's what we're gonna do, and I'm not mad at it.
I'm just doing my math.
Yeah. So that's Eva. And then Marlo's still wearing designer everything. Shows the kickball designer outfits. So that's Marlo. Speaking of reality shows, the last Democratic debate before Super Tuesday actually took place. And it took place in South Carolina. We of course had the potential candidates of Bloomberg, Warren, Buttigieg, Sanders, Biden, Klobuchar. And new entry to the last goddamn debate for Super Tuesday, Mr. Tom Steyer, also billionaire. The debate was pretty interesting. I don't think we really learned anything new. I think the girls just decided we're going to go in,
Let's have another one.
Full on attack mode at this point and just call shit out. I think Bloomberg held himself a lot better than he did last week.
Okay.
When he actually, was in a debate. He actually carried himself a little messy too. You know what I'm saying? Calling out the Russian support or the alleged Russian support of Bernie Sanders, and so on in his campaign, which Bernie, refuted and said that it's not the case, and he, went through and spoke out against any type of assistance on Russia and needing that help. Warren is still Warren. Unfortunately to say, probably the best person on the stage to be president and one of the most unlikely to goddamn get the vote, unfortunately, just because we know that people are not wanting to see a woman in office just yet, in the way that they should, and I think that's terrible, but
what if she gets her period and just hits one of the new codes?
Yeah.
Like, oh my God.
It's be so emotional.
What if she's PMSing and then just blows up some random country or gets us in a war?
Meanwhile, Captain Cheeto is goddamn emotionally tweeting all through the night, getting his feelings out, as he lays across his bed and kicks his feet up with his goddamn wired clear phone and explains it all to us. So, for that to be a thing still this day is sad, but, if I were calling it based on how I feel, my understanding of, the world and the people in it, unfortunately, I don't think that she's going to be our candidate nor our president. Same with Klobuchar. She's just up here still kind of shaking this goddamn mom bob she has. I don't dislike her. She just gives me... She gets me nervous.
Did you say mom bob?
Yeah. You ain't saying that? She got a little
brown.
brown.
They get shellacked. It's not a hair out of place.
But it's like she trembles and that little thing just be shaking.
The little tips just be
it's like she's
wafting in the wind.
I don't know, she's worked up or whatever. Like she's so passionate that I'm shaking. I got to get it out.
She could just be nervous. She's on a public stage, on TV, But she never had that much attention, so,
That's what comes about in her. I feel like enough people don't even know that she's running. Not to say that she's invisible. I know that she's, some of our main, but I feel like enough people don't know that she's running because I think that they're more popular known names. The Bidens, the Sanders, even the Warrens at this point. I think Pete stands out, old Buttigieg, for being the gay candidate, and I don't think that he's going to win it either.
Oh, he's definitely not.
If you think that the people don't like blacks or whatnot, you wait until they goddamn get a hold of the gay potential.
The gay agenda made it to the front, the Oval Office.
Child,
oh no, not my White House.
Understanding a large portion of the groups that support Trump and how they move. You feel me, from a religious place, and it's not Adam and Steve, it's Adam and Eve, and so on and so forth. It's like they will rip Pete apart. Starting with Buttigieg and the fact that your last name spells out "butt" perfectly in the first 4 letters, the Saints would have a field day with you. I hate to say it, because it's one of you're one of our card carrying members. Although I still don't, I'm not even gonna get into that. Because there's still some space between the Pete's and the me's in the world. But, you know what I'm saying, I don't feel he's going to be the candidate either. Definitely Sanders is still, talking about free everything damn near. And I think has pointed out what he wants to do, but not done as great of a job of pointing out how he intends to do it. And I think that the overall response to where the money is going to come from for free Medicare and canceling student debts and free college and, attacking the homeless problem and climate change and so on and so forth like that. I think that, it seems so overly complicated for people, and he doesn't have, has not presented it in a way that's simple enough to understand. Even at one point during the debate, he was like, how much time do you have for me to explain it? And, one of the candidates, I think Biden, was just like, that's the problem. Like, it takes too long and we don't understand it. And we know that typically a person's reaction to what they don't understand is fear, hesitation, things of the like. And so for those reasons, I don't think he's going to do it.
And if it keeps coming up, there's too much social media. Make a YouTube if you need to, have that circulating, get the Twitter, make a thread. Like, there's ways for you to get your plan out that does not have to be on the debate stage. So if you are really about it and you keep hearing that people see the plan, they are hearing about it, but they still don't understand, then it is your job as the candidate to get that across as effectively as possible. I know you got a campaign and do all this other stuff. Have one of your aides do it. Have one of the interns do it. Somebody can sit down and really hash out, this is Bernie's plan, this is what's going to do, blah, 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 and take as much time as you need. But the debate stage, is not going to be the place to do it when you only have so many seconds to deliver what you have to say as clearly and succinctly as possible. So
and speaking of the time that they had to deliver, a lot of people had comments and critiques regarding the host, one in particular being Gayle King, and the fact that they felt that the moderators didn't do a good enough job at moderating the event, making sure that people didn't go over time, things of that nature. So that was just kind of one of the comments that I found circulating surrounding the debate in itself. Okay. But just to, I guess, kind of simplify it down, Bloomberg's are stop and frisk, so on, and has non-disclosures over women that have worked for him before for comments that he's made. The candidates want him, specifically Elizabeth Warren, to remove those NDAs that he has on those people so those people can speak out and we can get an understanding of the character and the type of person that we are hoping to elect as our Democratic candidate or as the Democratic candidate. And I guess in, layman's terms, I feel like he is our Trump. So, much. If you believe in a Trump versus Trump kind of fight, then Bloomberg would be your guy. But just know that he's racist and has definitely had allegations of redlining and things like that. But that's what that would look like. If we have Warren is very education centered. She's very big on I think is it loan forgiveness? Like does she have
I think she has like a pretty comprehensive plan on different ways that people can be able to pay down their student loan debt and for people entering into school. I think there's plans out there. Elizabeth does have plans out there. So if you want more information about that, you can always go to her websites and her social media and have that broken down.
Yeah, she's similar to Bernie in a sense as it regards education, but her plan is a lot more simple. Pretty much there's going to be a 2-cent tax to every dollar on the rich or the wealthy, and in that kind of upper class. Not upper class. I'm tongue tied at the moment. That
the 1%.
Yes,
upper,
thank you.
Upper class.
Yeah, yes,
or whatever.
Thank you. The higher income, the girl with the money, the real money. 2% tax on the wealthy. So that's pretty much Warren in a nutshell. Of course, a more comprehensive plan, but those are just kind of some of the key points. Buttigieg is big on grassroots and its grassroots donations, and the people going through and donating up to the legal amount. Of that being $2,800, and that his campaign is centered around that, and that he will raise taxes on billionaires and the wealthy. In addition to that, he believes in a form of healthcare or universal healthcare in a sense, but also with, citizens having the option of being able to maintain their private insurance or, to have a choice, so on and so forth. So that's pretty much him in a nutshell. Sanders is, what some consider a socialist. And I think we kind of went through, free education, loan forgiveness, universal health care, things of that nature. Biden wants to put a black woman in our Supreme Court. In addition to that, I feel like you're kind of going to get Obama vibes. From that. So if you're looking for Obama 2.0 and that idea and so on and so forth, you kind of get that plan with Biden. Klobuchar,
she's like the Jill Green of the situation. Like people who you know, you can come in with all these ideas and, you know, all of this other stuff, but if you can't make your way to be front runner, then you just don't have that chance.
Yeah, I'm just gonna drop out soon.
Yeah, probably. And because Warren is already the front woman of the situation, Amy just really doesn't. If Amy was the only woman, then maybe she could be able to stand a little bit taller amongst the men, but because Warren has really been fighting to be a front runner and already has a larger a larger mainstream field of supporters, she can just and get them ends from whistling all goddamn night.
Yeah, shaking this wig. I don't know. She seems like a really nice lady or whatever, and I've liked some of her ideas. But you know, it would be nice to maybe kind of have her involved somehow in the White House, but that's Klobuchar for the most part. And then we end off with Tom Steyer, who is kind of, I guess, the latest entry into the debate reality show competition series.
Another white man billionaire.
Yes. And I feel like pretty much what I kind of got from him, and his main point is that he wants to create like 4 million plus union jobs. His commercials seem to always have like black and brown people, you know, in jobs that it seems like he's created and things of that nature. So that's just our little rundown of it. You know, understanding this, you know, if you believe in voting, the voting system and things like that, that is ultimately your responsibility to educate yourself on the candidates, because it is you and only you that are going to take your fingers, no matter how skinny or chubby, and push little box in the voting ballot. So,
that's it.
You know, if anything that is sounding good about anybody that we've talked about, please educate yourself better and show up if you believe in voting. Moving forward, you know, speaking in the realm of our country, you know, our country loves to talk about the troops. Jim Jones, rap extraordinaire.
Please.
I was saying, goddamn, the ballin' boss. Posted comments earlier today on his page, basically where he indicated that it was harder to be a rapper than it is to fight a war in Iraq.
The only way that makes sense to me is if he means that it's easy to enlist and actually get over there to fight. Like, that's the only way that can make sense to me. That, you know, the army is just kind of taking anybody, and if they want you over there, then you can just go. Like, is that what you mean, sir?
Yeah, he explained it though.
Yeah, so someone, a troop actually, it looks like who's fought in the war, or fought in a war. Well, actually, I'll just read the comment.
Okay.
And so I just don't go through and fucking shit up. So Mr. AMCORE on Instagram commented underneath Jim's post, said, heard the comment she made about being a rapper is harder than fighting a war in Iraq. You're allowed to have your opinion without any facts nor truth to it, but as a vet and hip-hop fan, I found it extremely disrespectful and ignorant. Here's some facts. My unit, which fought in Iraq 2004, lost more Marines in 2 months than rappers in the past 3 years. Keep talking, but there is zero comparison. So, Jim Jones, a.k.a. Earthworm Jim, commented back and said, here are facts. Every nigga I grew up with is either dead or in jail. So you want to compare death tolls? It won't add up. Hold on. Now, it's not that I can't read. It's that this is written poorly. So hold on. So you're either dead or in jail. So you want to compare death tolls? It won't add. Okay, it won't add. You went to army and met niggas you never knew or grew up with. I grew up with all these niggas all my life, so it hit different. You want to continue this debate? Y'all was shooting at kids and innocent bystanders in the midst of shooting at the enemy. We was kids shooting at kids, and that mentality spilled over to success. Remember, you knew who your enemies were. We don't, and everybody knows who we are because of our notoriety. So how you protect yourself from enemies you can't see? We all wear the same uniform. Everyone is drippy. But y'all had American uniforms on, and the enemy had their uniform on. You had the choice of joining the army or going to war. We didn't. We was at war when we was born. Let the church say amen.
I mean, Jim, I get where you coming from, but I don't feel like you needed to bring the veterans into it to make a point about your struggles growing up and the people that you lost along the way. Like, the two things obviously coexist.
Right.
So, it's not to say that you can't criticize the military or that you can have your opinions on whether wars were valid or choices that were made, but I don't see, like, what were you hoping to come from this type of interaction? Like, once you made that statement, what did you think was going to happen? Like, it's kind of my, like, what are you gaining from it? Because you could have told your story and left these people out. Like, you could have just been like, it was a war growing up. It was a war on us black kids. We're fighting each other, and then you have the police trying to arrest us and kill us and all of these other facts and figures that could have went into it. So bringing the veterans into it, I'm not saying that you couldn't. I'm just saying, like, where I just don't get why that particular part needed to be added. Like, what?
I think the veteran dude brought himself into it, really.
No, I'm not talking about I'm just saying, like, for Jim to bring in saying that it was harder to be a rapper than to be fighting a war in Iraq, when you know that there are people who actually went, and other black people. Because, again, for some reason, our community feels like we don't exist outside those spaces. So when we talk about ourselves, we leave out other people who may have had a similar experience to us, who also have another experience layer, like being a veteran or fighting in a war. Like, black people have fought in wars. Black people have grown up in the hood and had issues happen. So it's almost like, for some reason, our community forgets, like, there's black gay people, there are black veterans, there are black, you know what I mean? So, like, where, like, did you just kind of miss the intersection? Was this meant to be more towards, like, white people in the military or people that were non-black? Like, where was this, where were you trying to go with this? And what way, and where, and what type of conversation were you trying to start?
Yeah, for me,
just from that part, because I get what you're trying to say. Yeah. Otherwise, like, everything preceding that, I understand where you're coming from, but why bring in this group? Like, what? Like, I get the war part, but, like, why bring in this group, especially when you can know and understand that there are also black veterans who also had to be in wars. So it's like, just help me bridge the gap. And I'm not saying that in like a snarky sarcasm kind of way. It's just more really just questioning, like, just where were you trying to go when you added this piece?
Yeah. It's like, I definitely get the similarities, but I think if we have the real conversation at the end of the day, while, we are talking about people at the end of the day ultimately getting killed, I think there's a different intensity and a different level in which we go to war when it's out of the country versus in our neighborhoods and situations, and sometimes even glorify. So, we glorify both, and I guess in a sense, but, there's
every war movie that comes out ends up being some Oscar nominated something.
Because I just watched 1917 and that was pretty good.
Yeah, and it's not to say that those movies aren't good. It's just like the two ideas can exist without needing to be compared. Like, once you made the comparison, like, what is the point? Like, because I feel like it's kind of almost trying to compare, like, slavery and, like, the Holocaust, which people like to do all the time. Those two things were still tragedies regardless of how you look at it. So why do we need to conflate them? Why do we need to pit them against each other in the, like, oppression Olympics? Like, why are we oppression Olympics this particular conversation? Like, it's always a good conversation to be had because there's still something that's happening in our communities as far as black kids growing up and, they could be in the hood or being subjected to poverty and having to see violence and drugs and all of that other stuff. That can be brought up in and of itself with enough tragedy and horrors without having to conflate it with something else that is a different type of tragedy and horror. Yeah,
I completely understand. I agree 100%. I think that in my mind that it was, I think with rappers, there's a lot of, I think there's a lot. I imagine there's a certain kind of thought process that rappers have, and the ability to jump into stuff like alliteration and and just how they write, to be
poetry
and whatnot. And I think that maybe I think the conversation maybe
I didn't mean it to be funny.
Taken a bit more seriously than maybe he had hoped for it to be. And I think you can and by the person it was taken by, you can understand, like, I am a person who participated in this,
and I am also black.
And I'm also a hip hop fan. So I'm going to say that this is, disrespectful or so on and so forth, but I don't feel like he meant anything bad behind it. I think that given the situation, it's a situation where you didn't mean anything bad about it, but you also have the right to feel how you feel.
Mm-hmm. Like nobody is wrong in this situation,
right?
But I don't think Jim should be surprised or feel a way that people have the opposite opinion about what he said, because black people as a diaspora, whether you grew up in that situation or not, are pretty well versed in the horrors that happen within our community, as far as like the people that grew up in poverty and all of this other stuff and trying to elevate. So we can get where you're coming from, but don't be surprised or feel so defensive that when other people speak up, especially those who are of the experience that you're comparing, that they also are going to have something to say. Like, when you throw something out there, just be ready for it to come back.
Exactly, because opinions don't exist outside of this podcast. I mean, don't exist just only in this podcast. They exist outside of the opinionated podcast as well. So everyone's going to have them, and you're going to get them. Moving on, let's talk about opinions. How does everybody feel about the fact that Walmart is potentially moving into healthcare? I read a story this past week. Actually about Walmart in a city, I think is it Calhoun or Cawthon, Georgia, in Georgia. And they actually are up and running already, I guess, with a Walmart Health. The Walmart Health, I guess, kind of wing, if you will, or piece.
I thought they already do healthcare.
Well, so not in the way that they're doing it here. So basically, what Walmart is going to be offering in the healthcare game.
Is it cleaning?
Yeah, you're going to get $30 checkups, $25 teeth cleaning, and they also offer counseling services like for anxiety, depression, things like that, at an affordable rate of $1 a minute. So I actually think it's pretty good, that they're doing this. I think they're
Georgia?
Yeah.
Is Georgia the new testing ground or some shit?
Well, I think this particular place was a testing ground, considering the fact that the people in the town or in the neighboring town have to go so far to get to, I guess, a large amount or to get access. So it's like, let's put it here and try to fill in some of these gaps.
I think it can be great as long as there's some sort of checks and balances in play, because of how the medical field has been known to not take diagnosis as seriously, or maybe not test for things as thoroughly. So it's just making sure that the quality of care is still there, and not just, well, this is a $30 checkup, so you got $30 worth of care. Like, you know what I mean? Like, as long as it stays in the professional realm of how hospitals have to operate, like whether you have insurance or not, we have to treat you, whether you are paying $30 for your checkup or not, like, is the value of the care still going to be good? I love the fact that it's giving more access, especially because Walmarts are plenty.
Yeah.
So to give people more access to the services that they need and have it more accessible, especially where distance and travel is concerned, is great. My only concern is, because Walmart is a big box store that is known for, discount prices and discounted this and lower rates that, is the standard of care going to be where it needs to be? Like, what insurances are going to be taken? If you don't take insurance, like, what's the payment plan for people? Even if it is, a $30 thing, is there some sort of, policies and things in place so that people who are in those neighborhoods can still get access to care and not be shut out just because they can't afford it? So, like, what is the plan that's in place to make sure that the people who are supposed to be given this access can actually have it?
Yeah, and I think for me, pros and cons. I think starting with the pros, I think that it's cool. I think Walmart has like almost 5,000 stores across the country, so I think that's a plus in the fact that there's a lot of places that if they don't have anything, they typically have Walmarts. Mm-hmm. So you are able to be of service to people who would maybe not have access within a certain mile radius, but as well that the fact that it's kind of geared towards being an affordable and all inclusive or all access kind of situation. Walmart already currently has a pharmacy. So, you're able to kind of make a one-stop shop. Come in and do your checkup, X, Y, and Z. If you need to have any prescriptions filled, you can go through. You can do that while, you're in Walmart, and that can be getting filled while you're maybe picking up your Gatorade or your chicken noodle soup or whatever the case.
Yeah.
But I think that, to your point, when I think of Walmart, I think of, this being a situation where there may be a high traffic.
Yeah.
There may be high traffic.
Yeah,
and
that's what I meant to bring up too. Patient wait times.
Yeah.
And, things like that.
So you have that whole situation going on, and we know that in a lot of these situations, these like medical professionals, I know I'm tongue tied today, usually have some sort of incentive, or not, even if it's just, getting off at a certain time to get as many patients in and out as possible, or to see you as quickly. If I have a long goddamn, waiting room, or, a full waiting room of people, I'm maybe going to be a little bit more likely to kind of try to get through this as quickly as possible. And sometimes with that speed factor, trying to get through quick, you kind of sacrifice a little bit of that quality. So, with situations like primary care, dental, hearing, optometry, also having lab and x-rays and counseling, that can be a bit much with, I think, the 10 to 12 rooms that they're speaking about having. Yeah. I think maybe after a while it can kind of, tone out, but I think even with it being new and also just being something that is, I guess new in the sense of access even.
Yeah.
For some people that they're going to start off really strong as far as, interest. But it's like, how, will keeping up with that, or your attempts and efforts to keep up with that, show up in your quality. So I hope not, that this isn't a bad thing and doesn't do more bad than good. But, I guess that's something that we will see.
Yeah.
Moving forward, and not to really spend a lot of time on this, because I really didn't have too much to say unless anybody else wanted to chime in specifically. But Boosie actually hit the internet again. This week, our own badass. And this time actually seems to have taken a page either from the Snoop Dogg book of, apology / explanation / feeling at least maybe remorseful.
What did this nigga say now?
And just also, I guess, maybe the testament of what it means to have a good woman behind you, even if that's your mom. So Boosie actually hit the net this week to indicate that his mama told him to stay out of Dwayne Wade's business. At least we know that he has, at least one good person in his corner.
Mama badass, thank you so much. I wish you would have got to him for some of these other ones. And maybe you did and he just wasn't listening, but this particular one hit him a little harder, and maybe you had to whoop his ass again one good time. I don't know.
And it's and again, yes, thank you very much, Miss Connie. And to break that point down a little bit and touch on it, we understand that Dwayne Wade, has pretty much kind of opened this conversation up, by means of using his platform to kind of further the conversation. And I think that everyone is entitled to their opinion.
Yeah.
I do, however, feel that there's a responsibility that you have when you have a platform, and when you're doing business, deals and things like that with people, and you want to, one, kind of remain in good spaces, because I think that we're in a time now where, people are taking it very seriously and are speaking up and against being disrespected in ways ways that lend themselves to either being racist, homophobic,
just harmful speech.
Just down the line.
You're not contributing anything. You're just adding more harm.
And so, it's not to say that because you don't share the opinion of everyone else that it automatically makes it that. But there's definitely enough quotables in what you say to support that if they're ever needed to, be that conversation. But I think that, especially having a platform, you owe it to people, because people do listen to you, to at least be educated enough on the topics at hand. And I think that, a lot of people, maybe most, are undereducated as it pertains to, the dynamics of sexual identity, gender identity, and, what those things mean, and how they're separate, and in the ways that things like that intersect or, kind of lend itself to each other. So,
I'm not at all mad at the fact that Snoop's mom or Boosie's mom had to gather them together. But y'all are old enough and have been walking the world enough to know that you can say what you need to say, but you don't have to be like extra disrespectful about it.
Yeah.
If you were mad about the Gayle King thing, you could have expressed your displeasure, but you didn't have to do it in that way.
So use words.
If you are upset or feel a way about how Dwayne's daughter is now choosing to move through the world, you can say that without immediately going to his child's genitals. Like, things can still be done. Like, you know, two things can still coexist. Mm-hmm. That's always the case. Everybody's going to have their own opinion. Everybody's going to see it their own way. But it doesn't have to give in to some of the most ridiculous speech. Like, it doesn't have to. And the fact that your mothers have to step in to say something to you when y'all are both grown as hell, Snoop especially, but since we're talking about Boosie, like, everything don't need to be on the internet, sir. Everything does not have to, like, hit your homeboys up. You ain't got a group chat, and you ain't got some people that you can express these deeper issues to that, you know who you are and know that when you say certain things, they know how you are in the context in which you mean them. Everybody's got those friends where you can be a little bit more honest and a little bit more, lax in your speech because they know what you're trying to say.
Right.
But when you come to the internet with such, it's a hotbed of so many different opinions and so many different ways that people can take what you're saying, like, it just comes to a point to me where Boosie just needs to log off.
Yeah. And, I think that it's just the fact that you always kind of lend yourself to certain conversation. It's like, just like, leave it alone.
Always
in the gay conversation or with somebody's child. It's just like,
always
just
talking about somebody's dick.
Maybe just, take a break for a minute.
Always talking about somebody doing something gay. Always. Like,
it's the same thing I feel with Dr. Umar. Like, everything doesn't have to be a conspiracy. If you can maybe let 2-3 people die without, putting the government, the Illuminati, or the city of X, Y, and Z behind it, I think it would be easier to digest those claims. I think the same with Boosie. Let, 2-3 gay people come out and, transition and do whatever. And then, then pick up and speak on, X, Y, and Z. If you could do it, space them out a little bit. The fact that you come through on every one just puts us in a state of confusion and makes us wonder why you are so infatuated and why these type of things bother you. Nothing keeps you and stops you from being Boosie badass. Nothing stops you from wearing your it does not take away from your goddamn box fade. It does not take away from
that white shit
your Kappa dancing. It don't, none of that affects you really. So, it's just, I still stand by the fact that I feel like you goddamn saw something in jail that you was not goddamn ready for and not able to just fully even come to terms with, and it has really just fucked you up.
Yeah, and, you and your therapist, you and your therapist can really do some things.
And don't see Dr. Sherry. I actually would slick like to see Boosie with a young one. I think that would be the most hilarious maybe hour.
I want to see Boosie talk to anybody with some real sense. Go and talk to, what I would like to see? Go and talk to some trans people. The very people, make that a show. Give Boosie a show where he gets to go and sit down with some people who are actually living the experience that he is so afraid of, that he is just easily irked by, or has so much to say. Like, go, if you are so worried about what Zaya's got going on, why don't you go and meet Zaya? I don't want to have to subject that child to that, so I don't really mean that in the real way. But I'm saying, like, for the communities that you are so fearful of or that you have so many opinions about, go and actually be with these people. Yeah. And there are people out there who are educators and activists who are willing to sit down with a person such as yourself who knows that they're going to hear some wild and outlandish things and are in that teaching education mode. Like, go do that. Go make a pilgrimage to find out more about people who are trans and their experiences, trans kids. Like, the resources are out there.
Because you did it for the Capitol, you know what I'm saying? It's same thing, you know what I'm saying? I feel like at least, you feel me, niggas now in goddamn Honor Black History Month is out here. Somebody kidnapped didn't they kidnap a white person and make them watch Roots? Mm-hmm. You feel me? Somebody kidnapped, well, I ain't gonna put that out there, but you know what I'm saying?
Somebody
go through with Boosie and tie him up and make him goddamn watch season 1 and 2 of Pose.
I don't even think it has to be that.
We don't go straight to Zaya. Just maybe Pose first. Paris is burning, then we can.
But like, people just go to the communities, go to the people that you are harming for, and then Snoop being on this Red Table Talk, just to even put that out there.
I haven't even watched it.
I don't feel like anything came from that conversation. It seemed more of a, like you said, the apology tour continues. It's making you look better. It's making it seem like you've really had a transforming experience when I don't think that's the case. you know.
I think that type of shit be more for Jada now. I mean, not in a vain type of way, but I just feel like it feels like the underlying meaning of
right now. So
meaning of red table talk ends up being like, in my mind, an underlying meaning of like a safe space for even those who have done wrong to come and be comforted, like that unconditional black love. Like the Jordan Woods and that type of thing. Like, you're being bashed by the public. XYZ, come here, we've got love for you. And that's dope, but you know what I'm saying? That's what my mind goes. That was random. I just wanted to say that.
I just feel like any real change, will be to the audience who you have offended. So Snoop disrespected Gayle out loud. He apologized out loud. And then he could have left that space open for him and her to talk. And that could have been it.
Yeah.
As far as Boosie, same thing. You could have, reached out to Dwayne, which I'm sure probably wouldn't have happened because he's a way bigger star and makes more money than you. But, there would have been people that would have been willing to educate you. So I just feel like he just needs to go. If you're going to be on the internet so much, then go to the communities that are trying to be visible on the internet and get your thoughts together.
I feel like they got to be ready for this. If this is out in the public, it's up for grabs to somebody to put an opinion on it. You know what I'm saying? You signed up, you know what's gonna come.
Yeah,
it's a lot. You know what I'm saying?
It is.
Yeah, and that's why I was like, I'm thankful for it, and for them having a conversation, for the kids coming up and stuff like that, and the fact that D Wade and Gabrielle Union are kind of continuing the conversation and moving the needle forward as it comes to representation, and show the different ways that you can show love and support your children. I stand behind the fact that there's not a guidebook or so on
at all
to being a parent of a person that is LGBTQIA plus, so on. So I think that we have to give the space or the room for people to make mistakes, and for people to be educated. And I think there is space to do it without giving people free rein to just be disrespectful and hateful.
Exactly.
But I think that if we just kind of both if everybody kind of comes to the situation of resolution with compassion and so on and so forth, I think that that really is where it all starts.
Amen.
So we're going to take a quick break right now, go to our quick sponsor ad, and we will be back with our social media story of the week and the musical spotlight. What's up? It's Teddy Kalidimos, a.k.a. Demetrius' nephew, a.k.a. the Black Dr. Fraser Crane, and I wanted to take a little bit of time today to talk to you about the Anchor platform. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the absolute easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer, and Anchor even takes away the hassle of needing to get your podcast set up on other platforms. So you can be up and ready to go on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and many more in no time. Best thing about it is that you can also make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started now. Back to our show. All right, and we are back. So, social media spotlight story of the week. For those of you who've been online, Twitter specifically, but I've seen it in Facebook and Instagram Spaces. There was a video of a couple, guy and a girl, of course, and in the video, it's the guy's birthday, and you can actually see his girlfriend kind of gifting him on camera his birthday gifts. Starts with a nice little bottle of cologne, and then she kind of pulls out this clear envelope or folder, and says, "Hey, I got you a rental property." Guys in the back go wild, so on and so forth. You got you a boss, and so on and so forth. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? All of that type of, all that carrying on. You got you a Keisha Kior, bro.
Lord.
And he was unhappy with his purchase. The first thing you can actually hear him saying in the video is, "Who's gonna fix this up? Nigga, I wanted like a Rolex or something." And it has pretty much sparked a conversation that centers itself to what types of things are acceptable to give people as gifts. Should you give someone a gift that requires them to, you know, I guess, have a subscription or have to pay a bill, or a gift that essentially is a bill? Like, here's a cell phone, but not just a cell phone. I got you a line, but you've got to pay for it, or so on and so forth. So one of the things that I saw that I did some screenshots of and wanted to kind of share was an interesting perspective in the fact that now seeing the house, and if you haven't, you can check the house out on our Instagram, Opinionated Apart by TK, and actually see the video and the tweets and snapshots of the house in question. So we're going to call this the Dexter Street house, and from looking at this house, it looks as though it is this close, if you can imagine my fingers being together, from goddamn crumbling from the middle on down. I imagine this house has a fucked up ass foundation. It's listed here, the house looks like it needs a new porch because the porch is slanted, new roof, new windows, and the wallpaper is falling off. Probably has back taxes and some more shit. There are people who are on the side of, you know, with some blood, sweat, and tears. If you just hold on for 5 years for gentrification or whatnot, this can actually be a bankroll for you. But is that your decision to make for someone else? Should your gift be something that they now have to be liable for? So, you know, for me, when it's said like that, and I think it also has to do with the condition of the house. Like, if you give me a house that's ready to go, then yeah, you can probably do that, or whatnot. But I don't know. But even then, I guess that still depends on like my living situation. And do I have to keep this house up? Is this, thank you for the house, but do I have to pay the bill in here? Cause
my thing is, if she bought him this, like, it can't be his without the like. Where's the? Can she just put his name on the paperwork? Like, how does that, like, how was that legally his if this is a surprise? So is this more going to be back on her? Like, if he doesn't accept this,
that's
is
what I'm
this
thinking.
Truly her thing because she bought it for him, but she needed to put her own.
Well, see, there's speculation that she bought it from the auction. So my thinking, I would say that the house is probably in her name, and then maybe she has the intentions of transferring it over or whatnot since it's a gift.
I don't think it's a bad gift as long as she didn't just buy it impulsively. Like, if she was able to get a rental property, like, or just being able to purchase it, hopefully she did her due diligence in really studying it, because we don't know, because like, even if the condition of the house is what it is, we don't know if the bones of it are good. She could have went through and got everything she could have got things inspected and checked out. She could have done her due diligence. So this is again another reason why just 6 seconds of a clip is not enough to really determine if this is a bad thing or a good thing. Like, there's just too many variables that we truly don't know. Like, she could be business savvy, decided to get something like that, and like you said, maybe somebody gifted me something right then when I wanted something else, and this immediately kind of looks like a lot of work and a lot of things that I have to put effort into in order to turn that profit. Like, this is not going to be a soon type of deal.
Yeah.
That can be off-putting, but if she actually had a business plan with it, if she had done her due diligence, if she had all the, you know, inspections and licensings and all that stuff done, it's just like, sign right here if you want it, blah, blah, because obviously that cannot be legally his place if he is shocked by it and was not there to sign any paperwork or any documents. So I get where people are coming from. Those are I think both spots are very valid to be in, and questions need to be had. But if homegirl really did her due diligence and really presented to him a present that could be something to make him money down the line, whether he wanted to actually rent it out as a home or do it as a short-term rental like Airbnb or VRBO or whatever like that, I just feel like the person who did the gifting needed to make sure that he had all the information that he could, so that way it could be a gift. Because I just don't see, I know the world is big enough and people do make impulsive buys thinking that it's a good situation, or just assuming because they've been watching HGTV they can flip a house real quick.
I can go ahead and do it. I've seen on Property Brothers.
But I'm just willing to give her the benefit of the doubt that she did the homework that she needed to do, saw that this was something that really could make a profit, and something that they could make a wise investment in. Like the fact that she was even looking for investments, you know, willing to give him something that would be an extra stream of income for him. I'm hoping and giving her the benefit of the doubt that she did this with the best of intentions and with the best business plan before just kind of presenting it to him just to like stunt or something. Yeah,
like for me, I think you have a little more room for the benefit of the doubt for her than me, cause
I'm saying I'm hoping. Yeah. I'm just hoping.
Because his reaction to it just left me feeling like.
And his reaction was valid too, because like you said, you see this house. You know, it's your birthday, and somebody has put work in front of you.
Yeah, and I have to work to get it profitable. Now, for me, if you're gonna buy me a house, one, you know, you definitely pay cash for it, so it can already be taken care of. But part of the gift also needs to be that you are gonna foot the bill for this rehab.
And maybe she is. Like, yeah. we don't know. Like, maybe because she handed him a folder.
Yeah, I'm sure she paid cash for it, but I need
about $20,000.
If she got this off the auction site.
What was this at?
I don't know. And this story could also just not be true at all. So, you know, that's the thing about social media. It could also be made up and be a thing for clout.
Your girl get you rental property.
Like. But, you know, it's just one of those things to where, like, I would have. I guess, you know, let's just make it a concise conversation and not so much about them. But let's pretend like someone gave you a house that you needed to do work for. Would that be okay? For me, that's not gonna be okay. You've got to give me all of that, or fix it up and then give it to me, and it's free and clear.
Or
I might even have property taxes. You know what I'm saying?
I just would have liked to. I know this is supposed to be for my birthday, and maybe you wanted to surprise me, but this is an investment. This is something that me and you are gonna go into. Like, where is our relationship? Like, a lot for me, because I just go deeper into the thinking about it. Mm-hmm. Like, are we in a new relationship? Are we established? Are we at that point of maybe thinking about getting married and settling down, and this is a stream of income for our family? Like, where are we at that I would gift you something of that magnitude? Now, if where we are matches that, okay, so what's the bit, like, bring me in on it. As far as it being a gift, I could accept it, but could it be a surprise gift? No. Yeah. I'm gonna need you to talk to me about that.
I'm glad your head is in this space of wanting to, you know, invest in property and stuff.
And invest in me.
But let's go into this from a, you know, like business partners.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and let this not be the birthday gift, because there may be some things that I have questions about, or that I have concerns about.
I mean,
that
I
would
haven't seen it.
Yeah,
it's sight unseen for me.
Well, and it sounds like for him. Well, yeah. So in our conversation, like, yeah, we haven't. But it sounds like in the conversation of him is a house that he's seen before and that he was aware. I think he mentioned something like, you mean the one on Dexter? And, you know, just based on what we saw, if that was complete information, or just in a scenario, if we're talking about giving gifts that are bills, I think it's always best to just kind of give things that don't require, you know, the other person have to pick up their credit card and maintain.
Oh, yeah. For me personally, like you said, unless, you know, I am giving her the benefit of the doubt, because I would just hope that due diligence is done, especially when it comes to a place where if somebody go in there and, you know, trip and hurt something, they can sue you or whatever. Like, you really got to make sure everything is up to code, up to speed. That's going to be a lot of time. There's permits, especially if you're trying to do rentals and things like that. Like, there's a lot that goes into that process. So I hope that she had done her due diligence. She pulled out a folder. So I'm hoping there wasn't nothing in it. You know, I'm hoping that it wasn't just a deed in there.
Right.
So, but yeah, for me personally, no, you cannot just gift me a house. I don't care if it's brand spanking new, everything done, everything refinished, refurbished, renovated, or a completely new build. If we're in a relationship and we are not married and we don't have any sort of real ties to each other in that way, that is an awfully big purchase, and I'm going to want to have more discussion and conversation before moving forward with it. I think the gift would have been better if maybe that's something they decided on, and then she handed them the contracts to, like, renovations, because she was handling that, because they've, you know, maybe parts of the process could have been a surprise. Yeah. But just to, like, give me a house, especially like you said, in the condition that it's in, and
What's it gonna take for me to enjoy this?
Yeah, like what am I immediately?
Whether that's financial return or you being able to use it myself.
In this looks to be crumbling house. Like I got cologne and I got a crumbling house. Like me personally, I would definitely try to mask my disappointment because I see that person wants to invest in me and they want me to have something that will be residual income and something that could really be, down the line a really good idea if it's done correctly. Mm-hmm. But just for me personally, no, you cannot surprise me with the house. I don't care the condition.
Yeah, that's me as well. Well, that's brought us to our weekly musical spotlight.
Yes.
This week's musical spotlight actually is timed a little bit. Specifically it's somebody that I wanted to do, but I knew their birthday was kind of coming up, so I decided to kind of wait and do it closer to their birthday.
Okay.
And that would be the one and only medulla oblongata herself, Miss Fat Belly Bella, Erykah Badu.
All right.
So Erykah Badu actually celebrated her 50th birthday, looking as good as fucking ever.
Okay, because 50 is not the 50 that it used to be.
Come on, thank you, Cynthia Bailey and Erykah Badu.
Miss Niecy Nash, have you seen her?
Yeah, I have. And isn't Gabrielle almost 50? If not 50,
yeah, like 49, 48.
Yeah, so it's just like
Janet is like what 51, 52. Like
you feel me?
J-Lo,
53 something, like, 54.
The girls is looking good out here.
Yeah,
in their 50s.
Yeah, so I'm very, very happy about that. And I also wanted to bring up the fact that, you may have heard in recent social media stories that Miss Badu herself, who is known to have the goddamn key to the city, the heart at the bottom of the ocean, and just the kind of cat that just makes men call. She just decided to put her motherfucking DNA by way of ashes and panties and so on and so forth into a pussy incense. And sell it to you girls. And the bitch is sold out. $50 a box.
In 19 minutes.
And you girls will live. And you will deal. And you will continue living. Like, goddamn Gwyneth Paltrow's out here gooping the girls with pussy candles and so on and so forth. I know you let Erykah do it, and clearly you are. So definitely thank you for that. Happy birthday, Erykah.
I'm not going to buy it, but y'all niggas did, and hey, support your girl.
I think that this Grammy-winning artist deserves for us to kind of go through our favorite EB tracks. I know for me, she just goddamn completely zens me and aligns whatever chakras and retrogrades whatever Mercury's and so on and so forth. Even just starting at this first album, Baduism, or whatever, which came for us, late 90s and so on. Rim Shot, On and On, Apple Tree, Other Side of the Game, Next Lifetime, certainly 4-Leaf Clover, No Love Drama, certainly Flipped It. Then we got us a old live album, and so on and so forth with Tyrone, and all of the cuts that we just named that really just took us and our souls to a whole new goddamn world without the need for a magic carpet ride and a motherfucking nigga from Agrabah named Aladdin.
Yes, my favorite Erykah Badu song has to be Next Lifetime is what I hum all the time. I love that song. Like, it's something about that song that just, I hum it all the time. If I ain't got nothing to hum, I'm humming that song. So that's my EB track. Let's
see what made the Apple Music Essentials for Erykah Badu, because Apple Music is good for going through and putting together a almighty list of old songs and things of that nature. They got Window Seat, very much appropriate. Let's see here. We've got Bag Lady, very much appropriate. That was, of course, one of my
okay. Get used to breathing.
Just if you know the part of the song, you know it.
Dragging all the bags
like that. That's what they said.
Okay.
That's what they said. On and On, that of course needs to be on there. Love of My Life, an ode to hip hop.
Yes.
Let's see here. The Healer. I can't really say I know that one too much. That's probably a deep cut.
Yeah, probably.
But that's still fine. Next Lifetime. Didn't you know?
That's another
I've sparked some of this. Didn't you know? It's just kind of.
It's so good.
Anytime it rains or I'm trying intentionally to have peace or anything like that, it It just comes in. It's wonderful. Other Side of the Game, Danger, Clever, I Want You. First of all, let's. I just
that's the one I was trying to figure out. I Want You.
I hate to skip around, but we're not only does this queen,
yes,
does this goddess go through and just
Miss Cerebellum
give us all types of album just joy. She also dropped goddamn arguably the hottest mixtape of 2015.
Yes.
But you can't use my phone.
But
like,
you can't use my phone. It was so good.
That everything related to phone conversation. Can't use my phone. Hi. When a bitch call you, what you say? Hi. Cellular device. Phone down. You used to call me, Mr. Telephone Man. You don't have to call. What's your number? Dial a freak. I'll call you back. Hello. Come on.
Man, what's your phone number? That shit slaps.
Oh,
that shit slaps so hard.
I'll call you back. Cellular device, all of this. You can just put the whole goddamn.
And if a bitch can sell pussy insurance, she can make you put your phone down.
Oh, most definitely.
She can. She said, "Have your mama think you out here missing. I can make you put your phone down."
And if we, am I correct in my understanding that Miss Jackson was Erykah's mama?
I believe so.
Ain't that who he was hollering at? I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. Never meant to make your daughter cry.
You just see the little white boy. You see the little white boy do that song.
Yes.
Anyway, not to go on Outcast.
It's just,
yes, Erykah Badu has got the bops. She's got the hits. If you have not checked out the mixtape, You Can't Use My Phone.
Any Erykah,
you really need to.
Get you a blunt, get you a hair wrap. If you need to, get a hair wrap, get you a towel. Just channel.
And you don't need her pussy incense to enjoy it. Like, it's already wafting throughout. You don't need that.
I'm telling you, you know what I'm saying? Even if it's money blessings, put the money blessings instant on if you ain't got the pussy instance. Just, you feel me, do what you need to do and let a little Erykah Badu come through and do what it needs to do.
Yes, do your homework, get into them deep cuts. You know, it's too much streaming out here to, let the greatness that she is, that she's blessed us with for all of these years, to just go by without knowing some stuff that hasn't hit the radio. Like, she's got plenty of stuff. Her discography is very long. She's got mixtapes. She's got albums. She's still
got
tours.
Think Pieces. She's got art. She's got goddamn earrings. She's probably got soap and candles. Like, this one.
I am 1 degree separated from Erykah Badu. Like, I am 1 degree. Like, 1 degree separated from Erykah Badu. So close to have met this lady. But
come on, Erykah.
I'm very proud of her. I love just what she's blossomed into, besides being an artist, but being a voice for people. Very much into holistic stuff. Also a vegan. Shout out to the Black vegans. Thank you so much, Erykah, for that. I don't know. I just love her, and I want her to continue to do great things. Her daughter, spitting image of her, also sings like a hummingbird. Miss Puma.
Now,
what?
There was a video going around of Miss Puma and Erykah singing together, and Puma does have a beautiful voice. She's a spitting image of her mama.
What did Puma do? Did she not sound good?
I would just like to say that Puma. For the performance that I saw, it would be nice for Puma to sing the Puma songs and let Erykah handle the Erykah songs. Because I think they tried to do a little mashup or something like that. And Erykah, I'm sorry, no, it's your baby girl. But
from what I've heard from just her voice, she has
a nice voice. Yeah,
so.
I just don't want her to. I want them to get a better arrangement than they had this last time.
Well, she's still
they were singing together.
So hopefully they working on.
And I didn't want to say it, but
yeah, it's opinionated.
It's right there.
It is right in the name.
Angel Man, it's the Opinionated Podcast. Thank you for listening. Until next week.
Peace.
Bye.